Shaolin, now all I touch, I am a master here.
So bringing Ryan in here as well. Because obviously you've played together. You played together in covers bands all the time. You played together since I've known you both really. I think I know Ryan. You were in a different band at the time, but I think you knew James at that time, didn't you? So, and I presume you were doing some mad stuff together, like you always are. How do you feel you've developed as a kind of a pair? Like
That's a complete part of what I was telling you about learning to drum that I completely dismissed, which is absolutely ridiculous. So the cover stuff, the playing 100 gigs a year, 200 gigs a year, just playing other people's songs, and in particular the Irish stuff that Ryan and his family got me into playing. Yeah, I suppose that's had such an influence on my style of drumming. There's nothing like drumming along to traditional Irish tunes because it makes no sense. The phrasing is so ridiculous.
Is that right, Ryan?
You'll have like
So we're
you'll have like you have like songs and like just the phrasing's weird where say you'd have a verse usually that's say 16 bars long. You'll have a verse that's 17 bars long. And then the chorus will be like, instead of 8, it'll be like 10 bars. And like, there'll be a weird like 2-bar lead up into the chorus that happens just once. It's just absolute insanity. And that definitely taught me to keep myself on my toes while we're playing. I think between me and Ryan playing those songs, we now have the ability to look at each other and completely know what he's going to do. Like, because you just have to be so on your toes playing it. Like, I know what he's going to play on bass before he's played it just by looking at him.
There's definitely a telepathy there, 100%. You see that when you're just jamming, and in them gigs, and it's and when you're in the studio, I don't know, you're not recording together at the same time, but there's just something. There's like is it a synergy? Is that the word to use? There's something there between you both. I don't know, it's because you're good mates and that, and you're both really weird. But it's like there's something just amazing when you two play together. Something feels right.
Yeah, it does. It's it is weird, and we have grown together as well. I think that's the main thing is that we both started bands quite early, and we were playing. I think 16, 17, 18, so we've been playing for over 10 years together, but we've developed as musicians as well, and wrote music together as well from a bass and drums perspective. We've both been through the same experiences, so it is kind of like we've had the same education. Yeah, there is something special there, and you do miss it as well. I occasionally play with different drummers. James plays with different bass players as well, and you do kind of miss it a bit. It's not the same. You don't feel the same. It's just really strange. Something we kind of don't really talk about or even just acknowledge. But yeah, it's just there, and it's one of those things you miss it, but you don't realize it when it's there.
Like putting on another pair of pants and looking at your trusty old pair of black skinny jeans that you know is perfect and fits you. When you try the other pants on, you just don't quite feel comfortable. And it might look okay to other people. The pants might suit you and fit you, but to you, it's just not right, is it?
It's not at all. I suppose a good question to ask you as well is I feel like towards the end of the previous band that we were in together, we were writing more rhythmic music and more drums and bass led music. That was a conscious decision as well to try and create some form of energy. It just seemed like to get a reaction from people, especially from a live set, it was driven from the bass and drums. I think towards the end of that, I started writing bass lines that would kind of lend itself to drums. And I think that then sort of triggered the start of this band. It was like, right, okay, this needs to be completely drums and bass led.
I remember you saying that at the time.
I remember getting a demo that you'd done, and it's not like it sounded like me playing drums, but it sounded like something that I would play. Like you'd come up with some drum part or like put a drum sound on that already sounded like me, as if that's what your brain came up with when it was trying to come up with drums.
Yeah, it was a strange one because you are our strength, I think, in terms of from a musical point of view. And yeah, it just felt like live we were lacking that energy that other bands had. And when you sat back and looked at it, it was because it was driven by bass and drums. And again, like it was a decision that with this sort of music, it has to be led like that. And then lo and behold, a lot of other artists started producing that sort of music. I think the earliest thing I remember of that time was probably Royal Blood, which was just bass and drums.
Mm.
You're
it's
right,
like,
mate.
right,
You're
okay,
right.
cool. They've literally nailed that sort of thing. And then, which you referenced again, said like 21 Pilots. Are they bass and drums?
Yeah, kind of. They're
Right.
like they play a lot of
Live. That's what they do live.
Don't they? Like, yeah.
There's a bit of a theme there, isn't there? Maybe you should set up a band, James.
I thought you were
Well, that's the thing.
singing now, Ryan.
Another band I was obsessed with growing up, thanks to my brother, was Decibel 1979, which were literally just bass and drums.
Sorry, James, you just went on it.
Very early version of Royal Blood.
Who was that, James? Sorry,
I was just saying, thanks guys, thanks for the chat. Death from Above 1979, bass and drums. Mate, even one of my all-time favorite bands, band called Five. Granted, there's a piano, but bass and drums in it. It's the bass and drums that leads it, and the piano tinkers around on top. And I guess
figure some magic
away from it. And this is like therapy, man.
It is like therapy. I think that's exactly what Denny was saying after it and stuff. These are really, really, really good. It's really nice to. I thought you two were going to finally say that you love each other then for the first time ever, because you just you're like. So as me and Denny argue on this side, we've got you two arguing. It's good though, man. It's good. The conflict it's good. It keeps us, and it's like energy has been a bit of a key word that keeps flowing out through these chats, and I think that's kind of where we're at as a band now. We want to bring a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, because we've never really done that, and this is kind of like a nice new thing to us. But James, that was for me, mate. That was absolutely brilliant. What would just before we go, what's going forward? I suppose what ambitions do you have for the band and stuff, and where do you see us maybe in a couple of years' time, or?
Just before we do that, so when I was watching Luke's video back, he was mentioning a few artists and you're popping up pictures and stuff. So I like Ben 45, Elbow, Set Your Goals, Blink 182, Eagles, Fleetwood Mac, David Bowie, name some others. Should we keep naming them, Ryan? Do you want to throw a few in there?
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. I'll be an Edit King by the end of this video, man.
Where do I see us going? I see us going in the right direction. I don't know. It's still such early days for me. I feel like we've established ourselves and who we are and what we sound like and stuff. But we've released 3 songs and we played 2 gigs, and I'm just so excited to get the show on the road and get ourselves out there and let people see us at gigs. Like people, because we've got so many songs recorded that we sat on that I'm so proud of. I can listen to, having listened to them for like 50, 60 times and still be like, yeah, sounds great.
Yeah, man.
So I guess that's where I see us going is letting the people see it and letting the people feel what we mean as well. The whole ideology behind it, the message we've got to pass on, I think is such an important part of it. And I think as people are generally becoming a lot more aware of themselves and how they feel, and not the spirituality of it all, but just there's a lot more to life if you can just sit and listen to what your brain's saying.
Yeah, man.
Pay attention to what other people's brains are saying as well. Fucking realize what's actually important in life. Yeah,
self-awareness there, James. But
awareness of self and others.
Yeah, well, there's the title. There's the title of this YouTube video sorted straight away. He's frozen now, well, which is great.
I've got music to thank for that myself. I got music to thank. Like, when I was in college, I listened to bands like, it sounds corny as hell, but listening to bands like Seagull Roast and Explosions in the Sky, and all these like
Stop mentioning bands.
big epic instrumental music scapes that I didn't realize at the time, but that was my meditation. I used to go home, lie in my bed, listen to this music, and just
Yeah, man.
that was it. And it was
100%.
And I think I've always kind of been self-aware for quite a while now, and it's good to be in a band trying to spread that message at a time where it's most important.
Other than music, are there any other exogenous factors that have contributed to your self-awareness?
I don't know what that word means. you know I don't know what it means. And you said that on purpose.
James, you taught me how to read, mate. You taught me how to read.
I know. Wait till I teach you how to write as well. Maths and his writing.
Right. Man, that's great, mate. Really, really good introduction for you there, man. Have you enjoyed that?
I really enjoyed it, yeah. My dog enjoyed it too.
Bella, team mascot. Ryan, have you got anything?
We need to show her, really, don't we?
Yeah, get Bella on.
Get Bella out for the lads.
Hey. Hello, Bella. Hello.
Get that on the preview.
That's it. Man, that's amazing. Ryan, you got anything else to add there, mate?
It just started getting interesting then with the dog. Probably the only thing I can ask for more of, really, is the dog.
More dog. But yeah, I'm happy, man. I thought that was great, James, and we'll do this again shortly.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, James.
No worries. Thank you for having me, boys.
Any closing statement? Any top tips for anybody?
Okay, this is something that I genuinely said today, and I meant this. It seems like every day I learn more, yet every day I know less. And that could be your closing statement.
Man, you're just throwing them out. You're throwing them out. You give me loads to work with. I'm gonna go. Literally, that's gonna keep me up tonight. That one, James. It is. But no, honestly, thanks very much, mate. And like I said on the last video, I'm gonna get very good at this. Subscribe to our channel if you like these videos. Like and comment, because literally it really, really helps us out. And I just hopefully there'll be a few more coming up and stuff like that, and we'll be out of this lockdown soon. We'll be able to cuddle each other.
0161 BL9.
Nice. Right, see you later.
Adios. And if anyone's got any complaints, you can send them my way.